I'll fill in for Ginger till she gets here. So,
Okay. You just want to take turns?
yeah. So, any questions on the rules?
Yeah, I didn't get a copy of that.
Did I?
Laying on my desk, I didn't see it. Just keep the time. I left mine at home. Dashed out, left it on the charger. Are we zooming this? This being zoomed?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, we're live here. So if no questions, Mayor, go ahead and go first on your opening statement. 3 minutes.
Thank you. I would just like to open with that the reason I am running for reelection, I have some projects that we are working on, we started that need finished, I believe. Under my guidance is the best way for the town to move forward to do this. I've had 4.5 years of council experience before I became mayor and 4 years of mayor. And with that, have helped me develop a working relationship statewide with senators, state senators and state representatives, with the governor, with government, with I'm also on the board of directors of Wind River Visitors Council. Of course, FCAC as mayor, you're automatically part of the board of directors of FCAC. We've worked well together. I'm also on the board of directors of WAM, Wyoming Association of Municipalities. And without their help, we wouldn't have got a medical clinic, because they're the one that pointed us in the right direction for the funding initially on that, but connections with that. It's something I've developed over my years of experience. I put Shoshoni first and continue to do that. I think most of you know I had open heart surgery. Had the surgery on the 15th. And I was on a Friday. I got out of the hospital on a Sunday. Thursday, I was in DuBois at a FCAG meeting because it was important and needed for the town. I continued to work hard and will continue to work hard for Shoshoni. I have proven leadership. I repeat, proven leadership on bringing the town forward. The town needs that. We are recognized statewide now in a positive way, not a negative way, on the things we've gained. Our town plaza gets the most attention, but our cleanup, removal of some of the older buildings we've got done, our 40 acres right now that we are subdividing, we're in the mix of trying to finish that, to open up more housing to bring more people into the town of Shoshoni. I just need the opportunity to continue to move forward, and I thank you for your vote.
Jordan, what differences and challenges? Oh, never mind. Sorry. Go for it, bro.
My name's Jordan Whitener. Grew up here in Shoshoni and have been here since 2003. Being I'm just 29 years old and will be turning 30 in January, which is basically the majority of my life. I've been here when Shoshoni's been kind of making a climb, and I've been here when Shoshoni's been flat on its back. I've seen it from every angle, all the way back to being 15 years old. I've been actively involved with the council. I've tried to express opportunities for the council that I could see from my peers as an opportunity for Shoshone to be an attraction for other families and peers at that time of myself. That being said, I continued to approach, never quit. Was a big factor in the basketball court taking place at Town Plaza. Presented that to the governing body and was able to make a stipulation of why it was important to the town. That being said, I also started Shoshone Hot Summer Nights, and we've gained unsurmountable traction and have seen growth alone in the hot summer nights that has brought our community together that has been so divided for such a long time. We held probably one of the largest basketball tournaments in the state here this summer, which was all focused around youth. As a mayor, will continue to move this town forward in a manner that will only push growth. Infrastructure is top of my agenda. Youth is there, and my seniors that live here and have resided here and been continuing taxpayers for years, taking care of them in the asset of providing them, opportunities with the infrastructure, sidewalks, streets, etc. As they've been taxpayers. The new school was built. The Hart was kind of moved out of town. The expansion is not something I don't want to see happen, but I think it's something we need to focus in first in town a little more rather than develop ourselves out there before the expansion is utmost. Your taxpayers have been here for how many years, and to just leave them out and say, well, your street's not worthy, but out here is kind of getting the cart ahead of the horse, if you will. So I ask the voting body of Shoshone to please consider me on election day.
Mayor Highsmith, what do you believe are your greatest external challenges? Sorry, let me rephrase that. What do you believe are the greatest external challenges facing Shoshone in the next 4 years?
Greatest external challenges the next
4 years.
So external means coming from the outside.
Correct. Anything outside of the affairs of Shoshone or the direct control of Shoshone?
Well, that's probably something we have don't have a lot of control over. If we're looking at federal government and what is going to happen to our economy, what is going to happen to inflation, what is going to, our price of gas, part of inflation, price of groceries. That we have very little control of. All we can do is plan for the worst and hope for the best, as we did when COVID hit. We looked at our budget, we budgeted accordingly, and with the model we used to run our budget, we were able to be flexible and still move forward, still improve the town, still buy equipment, even though much of the country was coming apart. We weathered it very well. There was places cutting their PD, laying people off, laying employees off. We avoided all of that by proper planning and working together with the governing body. We work together, but that's what I see. External.
45 seconds.
I think the biggest struggle over the next 4 years as mayor is going to be finding the statewide funding to complete projects that have been started or need to be started, such as grant opportunities will be limited as inflation is going up. The other side of it is the cost of the project now versus 4 years down the road. you may have a quote now, but the inflation of the project could increase due to lack of materials, etc. And therefore, what's budgeted now may not be enough currently allocated to complete what project is on the agenda or foreseen.
All right.
I would,
30 seconds.
I would like to say much that I guess we can handle much that I don't think is external. What we're doing, we're in the process of doing that. We're working with that now. I guess my interpretation of a external is further out than Jordan's.
All right, are we moving on to Jordan now? Sorry for jumping the gun on you there, Jordan. So the question is, what differences and challenges do you believe exist between your active involvement in the community and that of being mayor?
I think some of the different challenges from my standpoint with the Shoshoni Hot Summer Nights taking place at a community or town park establishment per se is being, if mayor, having to remove myself from that standpoint and not, be in, I guess, character of interest, if you will, and trying to, express the council in a different manner, whether that's, forming a group to be able to do so. But I think that pretty well answers that question. My involvement around the town will not be, work will not be a issue to serve as mayor.
Could you repeat that question?
What differences and challenges do you believe exist between your active involvement in the community and that of being mayor?
I'd like to respond.
45 seconds.
I believe that there's just a whole lot of difference being mayor than putting on an event. I mean, Jordan's done a really good job putting on an event. God bless him, and I appreciate that. But being mayor, you have to manage people, you're managing budgets, you're dealing with state and federal agencies, and putting on an event doesn't prepare you for that. We had a city planner as president. I don't know how that worked out, but that's the difference. I mean, there's just a huge difference between the two job descriptions on what you have to do. It takes a lot of preparation, learning. Being a mayor, even in a mid-sized town like Shoshoni, can be challenging. You still have many of some same problems that the big towns have.
There is a follow-up question.
I would like to respond to that.
30 seconds.
To Joel's comment of events needs to be disregarded on the behalf. I'm the operations VP of the 4th largest gas distributor in the country. So as far as budget goes, our small budget would exceed Shoshoni's town budget on any day of the week.
There was 2 follow-up questions that are both for those questions that are asked. The one to you, Mr. Mayor, was how will you use your previous experience as mayor to confront and address those challenges? And you have 45 seconds for that. And then Jordan, you have a follow-up similar to that you could.
The question again from
how will you use your previous experience as mayor to confront and address the challenges that you identified facing Shoshoni?
I will move forward using my experience with SLIB, with the governor. The governor reached out to me yesterday and discussed about the meeting. I was down in the SLIB meeting and Thursday and reached out and discussed the funding possibilities for Shoshoni. It's taken me time to develop those relationships and working with WHAM and working with SLIB, with rural development, the Wyoming Business Council. I'm working with those entities continually on one project after another. And I have the time to devote to do that, which is a big thing. I'm retired. I have time to do that. And that's how I'm going to work hard as I always have for the town of Shoshone.
Can we get somebody to shut the door there? Got a pretty good
Yeah,
draft coming in.
Jordan, you have a follow-up question, or do you want to go, you want to respond to that? What he just said? Is that what you said?
Yeah, can you repeat the question though?
His question, his follow-up was, how will you use your previous experience as mayor to confront and address these challenges? Of course, you haven't been a mayor before, so you can respond to that. in their capacity.
I guess my comment would be previous experience. I get that Joel is actively involved with the state, and it seems to be that that's something he leans on. That being said, I think that's any mayor of any municipality. They build those relationships and connections. So I don't think he's doing anything that any other mayor town-wide is already doing. He may be actively involved and considering that he's always trying to put the town forward. It's evident he does so, but to use that as your crutch, I don't think is valid, being that would be the whole purpose of the mayor, is to have those relationships and build those relationships.
Okay.
Your follow-up, Jordan, was how will your experience with the community help you as mayor promoting Shoshone's needs?
I think my experience with the community is well-versed. Doesn't really limit to the realm of the people. I'm pretty well connected with all bags of beans, if you will. Everybody, most of Shoshone, there's not, this is my side, the whole division. I think I can speak for all walks of life and not just one vision. And so I see it in a broad band rather than tunnel vision. And I think that's where my experience will, it helped me exceed further as mayor.
All right. Joel?
He's got 30 seconds.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, he gets his rebuttal.
It's, I'll respond to this. It's, until you do it, you don't know what you're getting into. When I became mayor, even after 4.5 years on the council, I really didn't have no idea what I was getting myself into. You just learn by what you do, and you got to have time to get involved, to be involved. Most mayors are not involved as much as I am.
so Mayor Highsmith, how will you seek to address a divided community to gain consensus on the future path of Shoshone?
Well, there is going to be some division no matter what you do. You can't keep everybody happy on everything you do. You just cannot. You got to work with your governing body, the rest of your governing body, and between the five of you know the pulse of the town and take opportunities. One thing that some people don't understand is the speed and things work or do not work with government. If you have an opportunity to get a 95.5 grant, if it's good for the town, you need to move on that at that time. It's and sometimes, like I said, no matter what you do, you can't keep everybody happy. Funding just develops a lot of, you got a 50-50 grant, so $1 million project costs the town $500,000, you run out of money fast. You got a 90-10 grant, $1 million project costs the town $100,000. So you can do maybe $5 million worth of work instead of a $1 million work. That's not always popular. And when you do that, that just makes sense. And you try to make your money go as far as you can to get the most bang for the buck for your municipality.
Can you restate the question? I'd like to add.
How will you seek to address a divided community to gain consensus on the future path of Shoshone?
I think to seek and address in the divided community, it's evident it is divided. That being said, just hearing all points of view, just because you're mayor does not mean your point of view is the right point of view. And so you have to be able to see it from other standpoints. Because if you don't see it from another standpoint, you may not be seeing the bigger picture. Oftentimes as humans, we think we're only correct and our way is the only way, which it takes a team effort. So from the top to the bottom, you have to have trust in your town employees and know that they're going to do the job that is sought for them. Also, not having to micromanage them. And I think that'll limit some division that, or animosity that comes within small municipalities.
30 seconds, Mayor.
I agree with most of what Jordan said there. You don't want to micromanage your department heads. You got to trust them. That's what brought on our water project. It's one of the first things I did as mayor. I listened to my director of public works, said we had water issues where the previous administration had, and we moved on that. And sometimes you got to have the gonads to make the right decision and do what needs to be done.
Jordan, relationships with various committees and government or private officials are critical to advocating the needs of Shoshone. How will you seek to build important relationships across the county and the state?
I already have a few relationships built across the county with the county clerk, county attorneys, which have all endorsed me as mayor. And I think, that'll only continue on the path with state officials. Obviously, it's proven I can build those relationships with our county officials. That being said, if I can do that with the county, the next step is only building those with the state officials as well.
That's fine.
Mayor Highsmith, housing and business development have been mentioned as two of your priorities over the previous 4 years. How will you seek to bring ambition to fruition in the next 4 years if reelected?
I will continue on the pathway that we've already started, as long as the rest of the governing body agrees with me. We're going to continue developing our West Side project, 70 new home sites there. Hopefully develop the acreage. They were given opportunities for more people to move into the town. With the town doing most of the development, hopefully we can keep the price of the land down to help entice people to come in. We will hopefully expand our senior housing. Continue that to have good housing for seniors. We'll just continue to move on as we have done. We will seek grants to help us do that. That's what we're doing right now. We're working on grants, 85-15, 80-20, 90-10 grants that we can, and take all methods of working together, working with rural development, working with WCDA, working with the Wyoming Business Council, all of those, and putting them together to move forward. We got a wind at our sails, and we've got the state's attention, and we just need to continue to move on. Even the SLIB meeting, we were asked how Fast Lane was coming along.
45 seconds.
To answer the question, as far as Joel's question in business development and housing development, currently in his 4 years of administration, there's been no new businesses brought to Shoshone. Only current existing businesses have sought to grow. That being said, there's even less businesses in Shoshone than when he took mayor. There was a rail car development facility that's not Joel's fault, but they put themselves in the situation out of business, and rightfully. But my point is no new businesses there. Continued talks of housing development, but still nothing mapped, still nothing planned. There's nothing there but talk, really.
Yes. There's a lot more than talk going on, Jordan Widener, and you know that. You
Why-
cannot build
why
Rome,
would-
you cannot,
When you
You-
get questioned,
let
you
me
get
speak,
so
let me
fired
speak.
up. Just calm down.
Joel has the floor, sir.
I have the floor. Thank you.
You don't need to yell at me.
You.
Be a grown man.
I'd like to start my 30 seconds. I
30
was
seconds.
over, I was interrupted. Okay, there's a lot more than talk going on. Rome one built in a day. We are doing it step by step as we're required to by law. There are many people in town don't understand how those steps are. We're getting grants, we're moving piece by piece by piece. Rome one built in a day, we're going to do it because of the encouragement of our governing bodies, why Fast Lane expanded, why Crossroads RV was built. Right now, Desert Inn is getting rebuilt.
Jordan, you have publicly supported much of the expansion and changes within Shoshoni. What changes would you make to the current direction and development of Shoshoni?
Just trying to move at a faster pace, not holding it up because one little obstacle hops in. Just because one obstacle hops in at this end of the path, there's always a back door, there's always a side door, there's always a window and an entrance, right? So finding a different path to tackle the issue rather than just this is our course of direction and we're sticking to it and we're not budging.
45 seconds.
There's some of these obstacles that are not too easily going around. When we're talking mainly funding has been a big one in trying to do the most we can with the money we have.
Mayor Highsmith, what have you learned in the previous 4 years? And how has this changed your perspective for the next 4 years if reelected?
Well, I'm still learning. Learn a lot. One of the things, government is far different than private industry. It's one thing, you're dealing with the people's money, not a stockholder. Something you're voted into office and you're working for the people. You're handling their money. They put their trust into you. So as the governing body, not only as mayor, but a councilman, you have their trust and you have to watch that. There's far more rules and regulations you must follow. It's a continuing learning, looking at state statute, we're looking at town ordinances to figure out, make sure you're doing the right thing. I've made some mistakes. If I make a mistake and I don't know that I'm doing something wrong, then it was an honest mistake. If I know the rules and then I do it anyway, then I've done something wrong. And like I said, I try very hard not to do anything wrong. I try not to make any mistakes. Mistakes can be made, but it's a learning process. And you just, until you sit in the seat, you don't know. And as mayor, you learn a lot more. You have a lot more responsibility than on the council.
45 seconds.
As Joel said, to have trust in your constituents that vote you in, but those that also vote you in put trust in you to lead and not throw temper tantrums. Learning is most important. If you're not learning, you're not leading.
And this is more of a follow-up to the previous question that you were asked about the direction of the town. Do you believe the town is moving in the right direction for the future?
I believe the town is on a path that is moving in the right direction. Granted, there's hurdles, there's funding issues, as Joel has expressed. However, that doesn't mean it's moving always in the right direction. crosswinds happen. There's things that cause things to slow down, speed up, whatever. The idea is just to keep building relationships, especially with your council and your voters, to help understand what the community's foreseen is. Because like I said in the past or previous question, just because that's your course of path doesn't mean it's the right course of path.
That's fine.
Mayor Highsmith, what is the greatest internal challenge facing Shoshoni? And there is a follow-up.
The greatest internal challenge. I would think to continue to move forward is always a challenge. You need to communicate. The governing body needs to communicate well to the citizenry. And that is one of the reasons we Zoom our meetings and stuff, to try to get that communication. And I think that's worked very well, so people can understand the challenges you're facing with funding and other things that do come out. That's why I've developed my mayoral letter at near the first of the month, every month, to try to keep people informed. The council to agree upon, work together to move forward in a way which is for the betterment of the town, and communicate that to the town. I mean, it's funding, trying to get funding. We don't have a lot of money ourselves, so we got to work hard on funding, and spend our money wisely is very important, because if we do not spend our money wisely, we'll run out of money. We won't get as much done.
Do you want to rebut that, Jordan?
I do. Will you restate the question, please?
What is the greatest internal challenge facing Shoshoni today?
I think the current greatest internal challenge that's facing Shoshoni today is its own self. That starts from within the community and the governing body, and having trust from the community and the current governing body. But they also challenge is giving the governing body information and not trying to persuade them into a vote, letting them make the vote that they feel is necessary.
You want to ask a follow-up?
Do you have anything?
No, that's fine.
So the follow-up to the question, Mayor, was what would you do to try and address the internal challenges?
I would continue to do much what I'm doing right now. I would still try to communicate to the citizens the best I can. I would still try to work with the governing body to move the town forward. We need to educate our citizenry. I think with much of this education that's been going on, we have far less division in the town than we used to have. And far more people are happy with the progress we are making. I get many compliments on the good job we're doing, not only from the citizenry of Shoshoni, but from people all around the state that's recognized it. And more and more, I think we're getting more pride in our town. People are doing a better job of cleaning up. I think we're going in the right direction. We need to continue doing that and continue to do more. Educating the public is a big thing.
Jordan, what do you think should be the most important area of focus for Shoshoni in the next 4 years?
The most important focus, I have three of which. The most important is obviously an issue we've expressed countless times of housing. Housing is of huge importance Without housing, you can't support any new business. And it's a double-edged sword. Businesses moving into town to, give job opportunities, but without housing, kind of got to find the balance. And then the other side is improving our infrastructure, our power, our internet, those types of things, and improving our water system that's there.
There was a follow-up to that, which is how would you seek to achieve these goals?
To achieve these goals, obviously you have to look at some economic development opportunities, try to get businesses to come here, and if you will, you gotta be a car salesman. You gotta sell them on why Shoshoni's the place to build a business, because without it, they're gonna kind of just look at it and say, well, blink your eyes as you roll through town. So you really have to become a marketer in the sense you gotta make the pitch. And whether that's, different opportunities, different town discounts, if you will, on water, sewer tie-ins, whatever you can make presented to give them the best opportunity that's also cost effective to want them to bring their business here.
It sounds like Jordan's supporting everything I'm trying to do, so I agree with him.
Well,
Just follow-up questions.
sorry,
Do you have any follow-up questions? I have a bonus question.
go ahead.
I'll throw this one out to Mayor Highsmith and then same for Jordan. What is your philosophy on government's role in business activity?
Government's role in business activities. If for the most part, we probably shouldn't be involved with business. But do we make sure we don't overregulate business where they can't come to town and thrive? We don't overregulate business, you got to have rules and regulations you need to follow, but they got to be common sense. That's part of what's wrong with the energy business, how our federal government's handling that. Do we present, Jordan suggested it, and I have in the past, do we, if we can do something like building infrastructure, we can do it cheaper with grants and stuff than like a developer can to develop housing. I feel we should do that. If we can work with the state, help develop like our 40 acres, like we're planning on doing, what we are doing now. We got a $1.68 million grant. We're going to start probably next spring working on that. Continue to do that. That brings the cost for a business to move to town, costs them less money. Costs them less money to build a home, less money to build, if we can help provide a sewer line to help bring them in, let's do that. Jordan talked, reduce prices, you can look at things like that. They do it all across the country, try to bring business to a community, to bring a bigger tax base, to bring more people in, to bring people in. That's where we should be helping. And that should be our involvement. Like I said, don't overregulate.
I think my philosophy on the government role in business activity is limited and should be only to help a business succeed and lessen any financial burden that's presented from the town.
5 minutes left, so you have the floor for your closing.
I just ask on November 8th, you put your friendships aside, you put your handshakes aside and put down the hat and vote who's the best fit to serve as mayor, to help Shoshoni become self-sustaining and help Shoshoni continue to be focused on our future. I've got kids here growing up here. I've got skin in the game. Please consider me when you vote November 8th. Jordan Whitener for mayor.
Floor is yours, Mayor.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, my family first moved here in 1962. Always considered Shoshoni home. We moved away and 87 came back, and 89 came back in 2009, bought the house we lived in 2007, remodeled, moved in. Since I became mayor, I've had an advantage over many past mayors, and quite frankly, an advantage over Jordan. I'm retired. I have time to devote to the town, which I have. I have spent many 60, 70-hour weeks, 80-hour week at the job. I have the time to do it. I just have that. That's an advantage. Of also my 4.5 years as council and building relationships across the state, and 4 years, almost 4 years as mayor, has allowed me to build those relationships that just are not done overnight. It takes time. You just can't step in the job. I am willing to help the town. I have the time to help the town. I have the knowledge to help the town. I have proven leadership. We're getting things done. We're getting noticed statewide of the things we are doing. You know, the town, we're doing better. We have some divide. Every town's going to have some divide. I believe we're far more agreed in the direction we're pointing than we have been in the past. You know, we're getting things done that need to be done. And I need to be given the opportunity to continue some of the stuff I've started. You know, the medical clinic, that was on my bucket list. We got lucky. We got that done. Our town plaza, Jordan brought the idea of a basketball court. We expanded it into a park, into a full court instead of a half court. And we also finished it by paving the street so we could hold an event just like he put on. That was one of the reasons we built it like that, was so he could put on that event. That's why we developed it like that, so we could bring things to town. I just want to continue doing what we've been doing for the betterment of the town, for all of our citizens in the long run. And that's vote for Highsmith for mayor, proven leadership. Thank you.
Well, anyone from the gallery? No. I guess that concludes it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully you got more copies than your